All right. Good afternoon and welcome to today's class in English. I'm very much excited to be at today's class because we are gradually advancing in the various aspects of English regarding the forthcoming exam. As I always say, or as I normally tell you whenever I come to class, that you should give this exam everything in you, everything you've got. Solve as many past questions as possible. And I gave you a target. I said, if you can take a look at 10 years of JAM questions in English, 10 solid years, 10 solid years. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. And you concentrate on them, solve them back to back. All right? You will do well. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. JAM do repeat question. In case no one has told you before, I'm telling you now that JAM do repeat questions. So in order for you to perform maximally well in this forthcoming exam, I need you to once again look at your target of 300. The mark is 300, the benchmark is 300. All right? I was talking to some students somewhere. It's the same thing I told them, okay, in English. I was asking them, what do you want to score? They say 300 and above. I say, yeah. 300 and above is a possibility. If it wasn't possible, I will tell you that it's not possible. But I believe that it is very much possible. And you don't sit with your hands folded and say, yeah, it is possible and all. You have to work for it. You have to work hard. You have to go the extra mile, to do what needs to be done in order for you to actually achieve your 300 and above target in 2024 UTME examination, for the 4 subjects you're going to be writing. Having said that, I've also mentioned in our previous classes some books that you need to get, arm yourself with these books, and you read them. The first is the recommended novel, The Life Changer by Abubakar Khadijat. I'm sure a lot of you have that book by now. You've started reading it. There's going to be 10 questions. 10 questions will come out from that book. So you not having the book is a crime. Except you want to lose 10 questions out of 60. All right? So go get the book, read the probable questions that can come out of the book. The book has been used before, so it's not that it's a freshly prescribed book. No, it's a novel that has been used by previous students. So your set as well is equally going to make use of the book. So I will advise you once again to lay your hand on the book, read it. It's not a big book, right? It's not big. So read it and internalize it, work with it, and as you go for this exam, it is our belief, it is our utmost belief that you are going to perform exceptionally well. Last time I came, we talked about rhyming words in English. I did show you on the board how words rhyme. And I told you that for you to understand how words rhyme, you have to transcribe the word first. I gave you a poem and you realize that, oh, there are some words that sound similar, but they are not actually rhyming the same. The sound is similar, but there is no absolute rhyme scheme in some of those words. I gave you an example of raise, rise, rise, maize, maize, and maize as the month of the year, M-A-Y-S, and then M-A-C-E. You saw that, and then M-A-I-Z-E. You realize that their sounds differ. But those words, when you look at them in isolation, just as one word, or the way it sounds in your ear, you may think, oh, these words rhyme. So in order for you to understand rhyming words, words that rhyme in English, try to transcribe the words. Transcription is important because it's as you transcribe the word, you get to know the correct pronunciation of that word. That will help you, right? Today, we'll be looking at word classes and their functions in English. Word classes and their functions in English. Words do have classes. There's a class words all belong as far as English is concerned as a language, all right? The words we use on daily basis have classes. Because they are classified, they also have function. There is a role they play at every point, at every sentence, at every expression, at every interaction and conversation you engage in. Words, functions, words play particular role. So is that role, that functionality that words play that we want to look at today. But we cannot discuss the function of words if we don't discuss the classes of those words. You know, when you were in high school, secondary school, what we refer to as word classes is what your teacher normally call parts of speech, right? But this is an advanced class, so we call it word classes. Sometime, or as you know, your teacher did tell you that there are 8 parts of speech. But if I say they are not 8, they are not less than 8, all right? They are higher than 8. You understand? There are other classes, classification, because as I said, English is dynamic. And because of its dynamism, that's the reason you need to understand how words function, how they work. We don't use words in isolation. What do I mean by that? If I write a word, take a look at this word. I've given examples on the board already, but I want to use this as an example. Okay? Look at this simple word. Look at this word, crop. As tiny and common as this word appears, when you look at this word in isolation and you think the meaning of this word is just the meaning alone you have in your head, you're going to be mistaken. All right? How this word behave in a sentence, how this word behave in a structure. Remember, lexis, word. I told you before, lexis, word, structure, sentence. How is being used? What is it doing in that sentence? That's a function. Now you see the lexis, word. When you look at it in isolation, it has only one meaning. But in functionality, the meaning differs. This word to a farmer means a different thing. The same word crop to a photographer has different meaning from what the farmer will take this word to mean. To a journalist, this word has a different meaning. To a politician, this word has a different meaning. To an architecture, this word means a different thing. To an engineer, structural engineer in particular, this word has its own meaning. To a computer engineer, this word has a different meaning. So how do you know how this word behave? That's the dynamism we talk about. In the JAM questions you're going to be given in the objective sections under lexis and structure, you're going to see appearances of words such as this. Oftentimes is burdened, and you'll be asked the role is playing, the function is playing. All right. So words, as I said, have classes. You have the noun. Of course, generally, they are divided into 2. You have the content word and the function words. Right? The content words are those words that have meaning on its own. They are meaning carriers. Words that carry meaning on their own, we call them content words. The noun, the adjective, the adverb, and mention the last one. There are four. And words, you know, all right? I'm not going to say it. Now you have the function words, okay? Those function words are the remainders. We have the determiners, we have the prepositions, we have the conjunctions, all right? And then we have other classes that make up the function words in English. Now, the content words I mentioned, four of them, the noun, adjective, adverb, and the verb. Those four content words are meaning carriers. They carry meaning on their own. But their meanings are derived. Their meanings are derived by what they do in a sentence. The role they play, the function they perform in a sentence. That is how we generate their meaning. I cannot look at this word crop and say, crop is a noun. If I say it's a noun, I am thinking like a farmer. Because you know what crop is. But by the time I use this word in a sentence, that's going to give me the idea of the class this word belong. Whether it's an adjective, I can turn this to an adjective. Your names, your name is Grace, your name is Ayo, your name is Benson, or whatever. Those are names, nouns. By the time you write them in isolation as a single word, it's going to assume its class as a noun. But when you use it in a sentence, the function changes and the class as well changes. Those are the two things I need you to take note of. All right? Don't ever, I repeat, don't ever classify a word in isolation. Use it in a structure. Use it in a sentence format. Use it in a sentence. Use it in a phrase. That will give you the idea of the class that word belongs. Look at these examples on the board. The bandage was wound around the wound. Can you see? The bandage was wound around the wound. You can see that the word wound here is repeated here. But what this wound means in this position is not what the wound here means. The bandage was wound around the wound. Okay? What does it mean? It was wound. This is a past participle tense verb. Okay? Now, this verb is assuming a different meaning here. The same word, but they are used in a structure, gives it a different meaning. The same word, wound here becomes a noun. The bandage was wound, meaning tied round. Something was on, action here, wound. Can you see now? Number two, the farm was cultivated to produce produce. To produce produce. The last time we talked about oral English and I talked about pronunciation, I made mention that a particular word, depending on how you sound it, will produce different meaning. Example, I gave you this. I said this. Look at this. If I say contact, the meaning is different from when I say contact. You see, I taught you stress, stress mark, gave you superscript, capitalization, or subscript, where you mark stress in a word. If I mark the stress here, if I stress this, it assumes a different meaning. When I stress this, the meaning is equally going to be different. So I have contact and contact. All right? So the meaning differs because this, what we are dealing with here is not stress. We are not talking about word stress. We are talking about words and their classes with the functions. It's now you, the student, that will have to think, oh, how should I pronounce this word since they are appearing in the same position? In order for this meaning to be different from this, You can see that the two are in the same position. How do I pronounce this? All right. The farm was cultivated to produce produce. You can hear that. To produce produce. I cannot say the farm was cultivated to produce produce. No. The farm was cultivated to produce produce. Produce. So I stress it that way. Okay. Another word I gave to you was this. Right? Convict, 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 convict. You see, when it's stressed here, the meaning is different. When it's stressed here, the meaning is different. I need you to take note of that. Number 3, the dump was so full that the workers had to refuse more refuse. The dump was so full that the workers had to refuse more refuse. Can you see? Did you hear that? Refuse. Refuse. What does refuse say? What's the function of this word? It is the same spelling. It's the same spelling. So, refuse. Refuse, rather, refuse. The dump was so full that the workers had to refuse more refuse. You hear that now? Refuse, to reject, to decline, right? Which is a verb. Then refuse, dirt, D-I-R-T, dirt. This becomes a noun. Look at number 4. We must polish the polished furniture shown at the store. Look at that. Now, you see, it's the same spelling in different position. The position a word assumes gives it its function and class. The role is playing. All right? We must polish the polished furniture. Okay? This word is assuming 2 classes by the function, by the role is playing here. Polished furniture would be an adjective qualifying this noun, right? This furniture, this is qualifying this. It's giving us more information about this. Now, take this to be a noun in English. This ceases to become an adjective. It becomes the name of a place, right? Becomes the name of a place. Somebody from Poland, what do you call the person? Someone from Nigeria is a Nigerian. Someone from America is American. Somebody from Australia, we say Australian. Somebody from Ghana, Ghanaian. Now, somebody from Poland, what do you call the person? Is it a Pole or a Polish? So by the time you don't think this word as an adjective, you think about this as a noun. We must polish, do something. This is a verb. They polish furniture. Okay? Number 5. He could lead if he would get the lead out. He could lead if he would get the lead out. Lead, a verb. All right? Lead, a verb. And then lead. All right? You know what lead is? It's a metal that is used in covering and opening, either on the road or sometimes is used at home for those women that do cook with bigger pots. Okay? So lead is used at times to cover the mouth of the pot. So you take off the lid, take out the lid, right? So this sentence is telling us that he could lead if he would take the lid out. The lid might be blocking the pathway, the walkway, so the person needs to take it out. So what we are practicing here or practicalizing here is the fact that words, number 1, have classes. Number 2, those classes are determined by the function of the word in the class, in a structure. Look at number 6. The soldier decided to desert. Now, I need you to listen to the ways these words are pronounced in different position. The pronunciation in different position is what gives it its meaning. The reason is that I'm not transcribing any of them, and it's not oral English. So I know by instinct, I understand that words, the same words appearing in different positions in a structure, in a sentence, is supposed to be pronounced differently so that someone listening to me will understand that, oh, those words mean different things, even when they are spelled the same. All right. In the case of some other words that are spelled differently but pronounced the same, e.g., is this happy word on the board? Look at this and look at this. Oftentimes, students make mistake with this word. All right. Students make mistake with this word. Impart. Impact. You heard me now. Impart. Impact. Impart. Impact. All right. So what does it mean to impart? And what does impact mean? Sometimes you often mistake this for this, but they are not the same. They are never the same. Their meanings are different, totally different. All right. So this is one of the things I need you to take note of. Now listen to number 6. The soldier decided to desert his tasty dessert in the desert. In the desert. In the desert. The soldier decided to desert his tasty desert in the desert. In the desert. Look at this word, desert, to abscond from, to run away, to abandon, to leave something. All right? Those are the synonyms of this word. To leave something, abandon something, forgo something, forget something, leave something, decline a thing. So you desert, you run away from. So the soldier decided to desert his tasty desert in the desert. 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 Did you hear that? Desert. 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 You know what this is. So these same words appearing in this position gives it a different class. This is a place. This is a noun. All right? The word here is a noun. So I need you to take note of that. What we are going to do in our next class is I'm going to pull up so many questions that captured many of these in an objective form. So we trash them, treat them. Is in your past question paper. I'm sure you have a copy that this organization gives to you. Sure you have your copy. So we are going to treat a lot of questions pulled from those past question papers to give you further examples on how words behave when they appear in different positions in a sentence. Look at number 7. Since there's no time like the present, if you must get anything out of this class today, number 1, note that words have classes. Number 2, note that words have function. Number 3, note that the class of a word is determined by the function, the role that word play. So we can't look at a word and say it's a noun. If you give me a word and ask me, a teacher, what is the word class of this word? I can't say is a noun, is a verb, is an adjective, or a preposition. No, I will ask you to use it in a sentence. By the time you've used it in a sentence, I'll be able to tell that, oh, that's a verb. Oh, that's an adjective. Oh, that's a preposition. Oh, that's this and that's that. You understand? So, number 3 thing you are taking out of this class is that the function of a word is determined by the role. Rather, the class of a word is determined by the role, by the function that word play in the structure, in that sentence you're reading. However long the sentence is, however long, it could be a passage, it could be a page, however long the sentence, it could be an entire book. As you read along and you see each of those words, remember their function, their class is determined by the function, by the role they play. Don't leave them in isolation. Don't mention them in isolation. Don't do that. If you do that, you're going to be making a lot of mistakes. Please let this stick, let it remain with you so that in your forthcoming exam, because these questions are going to be there. As I normally tell you, JAM cannot say, okay, this is 2024. For this set of students, we are not giving them question that has to do with what classes and their function. Let's just leave them to be. No, it's going to be a mixture. I told you before, JAM English is usually 100, from 100 to 80, from 80. Look at the number it has been brought to. What was in 100 questions was shrink to 80 questions. The same thing that is in 80 questions has been compartmentalized. They make it compact, brought it down to 60. And you must attend everything. You can say, I don't understand. How can this word, I know that this word means what people normally eat. How can it mean a different thing here? Just note, number one, that words have classes. Number two, words have functions. Number three, the class of each word in English is determined by the function it's playing. From today until thy kingdom come, never tell anybody that word is a noun, is an adjective, is a verb. No, 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 no. Use it in a structure, use it in a sentence. That's how you determine the class it belongs. Is that fine? Now look at this. All right, number 4, I said you are to pronounce the same words differently. That's another tip. Pronounce them differently. You see the same words, I pronounce them differently to determine their class. Look at produce. I'm not going to say produce here. No. This is produce and this is going to be produce. Produce. You see? Produce. Now gives this one prominence and brings out the meaning in this structure. This is wound. I'm not going to say the same thing here. It's going to be different because this wound here is also the wound there is the same spelling, but their meaning all differ. Look at this. It's the same. When I say refuse, refuse, but I can't say refuse, refuse. No, because I want somebody to note that the meaning of this word in this position is different from what it means in this position. Therefore, I'm going to pronounce this differently from this. The dump was so full that the workers had to refuse more refuse. Refuse more refuse. Refuse it. Refuse it is wrong. You can't tell somebody, refuse it. Refuse it. Except you're speaking, I don't want to mention those people that talk that way. All right? Someone that will tell you market. Eh? Market. Going to the market. All right, open the gate and stuff like that. So look at this. Since there is no time like the present, since there's no time like the present, he thought it was time to present. Can you hear now? To present the present to his girlfriend. Valentine is coming. Pay attention. Hear this. Since there is no time like the present, the same spellings, he thought it was time to present this present, this present, the present to his girlfriend. So you realize that we have present, 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 but do they all mean the same? No, they're not the same, but the same spelling, different pronunciation, because they appear in different position in that structure, in the sentence. Structure means sentence, so their meanings differ. Let's go since there's no time like the present. Now, what's the function of this? How do you classify this? All right, how do you now classify this? The first present where we are, since there's no time like the present. All right, since there's no time like the present. Adjective. Present. Adverb. Present. He thought it was a time to present a verb, to do something. Present the present. You see now, the present, an object, something to his girlfriend. Number 8, a bass was painted on the head of the bass drum. Some say bees. Okay, if I write, take a look at this. Is almost like this, impart and impact. I cannot say impact and impact. No, impart. Impact. It's like saying this. It's like saying this. All right. Look at this happy word. If I say import, import, it has a different meaning when I say import. Import. You see now, import, 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 import. I'm saying that word import is a goods itself. Import, bring it in. Import, what you've brought in. You see that the meaning changes. Then import also means effect. Effect. What effect does this have on you? So instead of me asking you, what effect does sun, or what effect does quarreling have on you? I could say, what's the import of that on you? Listen, what's the import of that on you? This same word. They have told you that import the goods. Import, bring in. See, one word, 3 meanings. We've derived 3 meanings from the same word. How did we get to that? Use it in a sentence. The man is engaged in importation. Okay, let me use this word. I'm going to use this word the way it is without adding either a prefix or a suffix, because we are getting there on how you know, oh, all right, this is how I'm going to form this word and then alter the meaning. We use prefix, we use suffix, we use affix, prefixation, suffixation, affixation. Put together the 3, you generate a word. Of course, the meaning is going to change. All right. Number 1, what import does fighting have on kids? What import does fighting have on kids? Import here means effect, right? Either negative, of course, it's going to be negative, or positive. That's if fighting is a positive thing. All right. Now, hear this. Did you come with the imports of last year? Did you come with the imports of last year? Meaning the goods of last year. Did you come with them? We asked you to come. Here you are. Did you come with them? You see? Now, the same word, import, right? He said he will import some goods into the country. He said he will import some goods to the country, right? So just take note of that. Let's move on quickly. Number 9, when shot at, they dove into the bushes. Can you imagine? When shot at, they dove into the bush. but their meaning changed. All right? Dove, yeah? The dove. The dove, that's the bird. What did the bird do? They dove into the bushes. What did they do? They ran. So this word that is the same spelling with this assume different meaning in this structure. Because of its function, its class will not be the same as the first one, the dove, which is a noun. Dove, again, into the bushes. I told you something in one of our classes. I said, how would you know what a word means in a sentence? See, the role is playing, the function is playing. Look at two things. I told you antecedent and precedent. That sentence you're reading, what is it talking about? What is he saying? Look at this. The farm was cultivated to produce produce. Because we know the keyword, one of the keywords, farm. Look at bandage. Bandage. You can't be talking about school children or something. You know, bandage, oh, accidents has happened and all of that. Okay? The soldier decided. All right. So what's that sentence? What is this saying? What's a precedent? What's the antecedent? All right. The antecedent coming before and the precedent, what goes after. All right. In that structure you're reading, that's another way you will know, oh, this is actually the class of this particular word in this structure, because words assume different meaning in different position. Example, crop. As simple as it is. There is this funny word. You see this word in your mind? Good. You see this? When I use this word, when I use this word and this, good. You know, you say it's a vulgar word. You say it's a vulgar word because it's only one meaning of this, you know. You tell me that this is a vulgar word because, you're a bad teacher. This. Because it's only one meaning, you know. Intercourse. You know another meaning for this? Discussion. One-on-one discussion. All right? So, from what we've done so far, I did not object to the object which you showed me. All right? It's the same thing we're talking about. As I said, you go through this, take a look at this, and do more exercises as you will have in your book. All right? When I come next time, we give real examples in objective format. Thank you.